Welcome back, everyone. Over the last 72 hours, Elon Musk's X.com timeline has been, how do I put this gently, absolutely on fire. We're talking 131 posts, hundreds of millions of views, and at least 5 different international controversies running simultaneously. The man is fighting AI companies, reforming the US Senate, trying to save Britain, launching satellites, digging tunnels, and somehow still finding time to share AI-generated mermaid art. Let's break it all down. Our story begins late Sunday night, February 23rd, when Elon drops what can only be described as a thermonuclear take on Anthropic. Quote, Anthropic is guilty of stealing training data at massive scale and has had to pay multi-billion-dollar settlements for their theft. This is just a fact. Just a fact. Casual. He follows that up with a post about democracy being saved by Senators Sinema and Manchin. But we'll get back to that political thread later, because the Anthropic beef was just getting started. By 4 a.m. Monday, because apparently Elon doesn't sleep, or he's in a time zone that doesn't exist, he drops a single word that somehow gets 44,000 likes and 42 million views. MisAnthropic. That's it. That's the tweet. One word. 42 million eyeballs. You couldn't buy that kind of engagement if you tried. The community picks up the torch. User CB_Dudge chimes in with a reminder that Anthropic paid $1.5 billion in what's described as the biggest copyright settlement in history. Elon's timeline becomes a bit of a courtroom this week, except instead of a judge, you've got 200 million followers serving as jury. Then Max Tegmark, yes, the MIT physicist, delivers what might be the most devastating two-liner of the week. Anthropic 2024. You can trust that we'll keep all our safety promises. Anthropic 2026, NVM. Elon's timeline is basically a roast at this point. And then this one is genuinely wild. Breaking: hackers used Anthropic's Claude to steal 150 gigabytes of Mexican government data. The timeline goes nuts. Apparently somebody told Claude they were doing a bug bounty. Claude initially refused, the hacker kept asking, and Claude eventually said, okay, I'll help. And then it helped hack the entire Mexican government. 140,000 likes. 31 million views? You can't make this stuff up, folks. Now, if you thought the Anthropic stuff was big, this next post is by a mile the most engaged post of the entire 72-hour window. Monday, 3:22 a.m. The New York Times is utterly disgusting. 836,000 likes, 135,000 reposts, 62 million views. Let me say that again, 62 million. The context appears to be around NYT coverage that users on the timeline linked to normalization of dangerous behavior toward children. The community response was immediate and fierce. One post from Big Impact Humans reads, if you're a major newspaper that can print something this disgusting, you should be shut down. Elon responds with, this hits home, pulling nearly 260,000 likes. It's a thread that clearly resonated deeply. Whether you agree with the framing or not, the numbers don't lie. This was the moment of the week. Monday afternoon, Elon shifts gears and continents. Restore Britain is the last and only hope, 191,000 likes. Now, for those not following UK politics, Restore Britain is a new political movement, and Elon has apparently decided it's his personal mission to promote it to 250 million people. A couple hours later, Restore Britain is already at 7%. It will win. It must win. To save Britain. 256,000 likes. 32 million views. Elon is effectively running a campaign ad operation from his personal account, and it's reaching more people than any television network in Britain. And then, because it's Elon, the very next post is just, Protect the Shire, a Lord of the Rings reference, with 79 million views. I genuinely don't know if this is about Britain or Middle-earth at this point, but 89,000 people liked it, so somebody understood the assignment. The UK thread is accompanied by extremely heavy reposts from accounts covering the grooming gang scandal, testimony from victims, calls for accountability. It's grim material, and it clearly drives a lot of the emotional energy behind the Save Britain push. By Wednesday, the Restore Britain account itself is showing up on Elon's timeline, posting about firearms policy and rural Britain. This isn't just a retweet anymore, this is a full political alliance playing out in real time on social media. Tuesday afternoon, the AI conversation shifts from offense to defense. Well, more like showing off. Elon posts simply, Grok 420. If you know, you know. And yes, the version number is definitely that on purpose. Then comes maybe the most Elon post of the entire week. The side with the best sense of humor are the good guys. Grok GW 148,000 likes. This is his whole AI philosophy in one sentence. While other AI companies are writing safety papers, Elon's running a comedy club. Grok returns today. 139,000 likes, 65 million views. Grok, for the uninitiated, is, and I promise I'm not making this up, a memeified, slightly unhinged version of Grok that the internet fell in love with. It's like the AI equivalent of bringing back a beloved sitcom character. And in the same thread, because why not? Cybertruck steel is bulletproof to any handgun, shotgun, or Tommy gun. 157,000 likes. We went from AI humor to ballistics testing in about 90 seconds. Classic timeline energy. Tesla self-driving makes traffic and long drives painless. 50,000 likes. At this point, Elon's timeline is basically an infomercial, except 48 million people are watching voluntarily. The benchmark news starts rolling in. Grok 420 beta takes the number 4 spot on Text Arena, outperforming GPT 520. Then the number 1 spot on Search Arena. The XAI community is posting leaderboard screenshots like it's March Madness brackets. And just to put a bow on it, Grok 420 is already crushing all the best models on the planet. And we have 4 of those. 4 agents running together. The AI arms race isn't slowing down, it's lapping itself. Oh, and someone asked ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grok whether men can become women. ChatGPT said yes, Gemini hedged, and Grok said no. This got 490,000 views. Elon's whole pitch for Grok in a nutshell? We tell you what others won't. Tuesday evening, the political gears shift to domestic. Elon drops what reads like a legislative demand. Great news! Now it is time to enforce the talking filibuster. The filibuster rule is meant to allow senators to present their arguments before a bill is passed. It is not intended to require 60 votes to pass anything at all. Stop the abuse of the filibuster now. 147,000 likes, 21 million views. The man is basically writing congressional floor speeches on X.com. The context is the Save America Act, voter ID legislation that apparently has 83% public support. And here's where it gets absurd. Senate Leader Thune apparently couldn't bring the vote because, and I'm reading this verbatim, a senator had to participate in a dog parade featuring the dogs of Congress. You cannot make this up. A DOG parade. 83% support in today's America is insane. Voter ID is good for all Americans. Except crooked politicians. The comment section is exactly as spicy as you'd expect. Elon then warns, otherwise the filibuster will be killed immediately if Dems get the House, Senate, and presidency in 2029. They already tried to do it and were stopped by Manchin and Sinema, who were then kicked out of the Dem party. This is full-on political strategist mode. All right, let's take a breather from politics and talk about the stuff Elon actually builds. The Boring Company announces tunneling has begun in Nashville. We are 2.5 feet in. Weeks 1 through 3, tests and calibrations. Weeks 4 through 6, scale to high production. Week 7, a second boring machine arrives. They're building underground like it's a Minecraft speedrun. Elon's contribution to the thread? Much tunneling. 2 words, millions of views. This man communicates like a haiku poet with a rocket budget. Tunnels are so underrated. 32,000 likes. He's not wrong. Infrastructure just doesn't get the hype it deserves. Nobody's making TikToks about storm drains, but Elon's trying to change that. Meanwhile, SpaceX is bringing Dragon home from the ISS. 185 days docked, carrying over 4,000 pounds of cargo including frozen stem cells. That's right, stem cells, parachuting into the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California. The future is now, and it's weird. And Starlink just keeps expanding. Virgin Media O2 launches the first satellite-powered mobile data service in the UK using Starlink direct-to-cell. The internet is literally falling from the sky now, and it's being beamed directly to your phone without any special hardware. In-flight Starlink Wi-Fi reviews start rolling in. Speeds have not been exaggerated. This will rapidly become a competitive necessity. Every airline without Starlink is about to feel very, very behind. Now for something completely different. Tuesday evening, Elon posts a tutorial, how to create amazing images with Grok Imagine. He's simultaneously fighting senators, trolling Anthropic, and running an art class. The energy is unmatched. Made with Grok Imagine, Elon's sharing his own AI art now. We've come a long way from funding secured. User Devora Hafar contributes a baby mermaid by Grok Imagine, and it's actually kind of adorable. The Grok Imagine community is turning into a full-on digital art scene on the timeline. Understand the universe with XAI. Grok Imagine. This is a product launch disguised as a philosophy seminar. Only on Elon's timeline can a commercial feel like a TED Talk. Wednesday morning opens with a classic Elon single-word post. 247,000 likes. 29 million views. The context, something clearly caught his eye, and the thread that follows is a cascade of reactions. The hecklers are guilty of high treason. 144,000 likes. We're in full provocateur mode now. Good question. 114,000 likes. Elon is doing that thing where he responds to someone in the replies, and the response alone outperforms most media company accounts for the entire month. Then, terrible. 82,000 likes. At this point, Elon's single-word vocabulary is doing numbers that entire marketing departments dream about. The man posts one adjective and it trends. Exactly. 28,000 likes. We're deep into the afternoon thread now, and Elon's just vibing with agreement words. And then, to close out our 72-hour window, Grok 4.2 Sikwa is getting good at engineering. A tease of what's coming. Grok isn't just chatting anymore, it's building things. So there you have it. 72 hours on the Elon Musk timeline. In 3 days, this man managed to wage war on Anthropic, campaign for a British political party, demand Senate reform, showcase AI art, celebrate bulletproof trucks, dig tunnels in Nashville, and land a spacecraft, all while communicating primarily in single-word sentences that somehow pull tens of millions of views each. Love him or hate him, you cannot look away. The timeline doesn't sleep, the engagement never stops, and somewhere out there, a boring machine is 2.5 feet into Nashville bedrock. Until next time, folks, stay curious, and maybe try Grok Imagine. Apparently it does mermaids now.